Hello, eighth graders. Welcome to another day of social studies class on Tuesday today. I hope you're doing well at home as always. But what we are going to be doing today in our lesson, as we saw in the overview, is be taking actually a pause from our learning about the Civil War, because as good historians and just social scientists, studies people, we need to not only use our history knowledge to kind of like be really smart, but also to kind of like use that knowledge to make decisions in the world that we live in now. So we're going to be looking at these current events of the major global crisis that is going to be an incredibly important, significant event in global world history, and that is what we're going through right now, the COVID-19 or coronavirus pandemic. We're right in the middle of this, but this is guaranteed going to be a major event that will shape global United States and every country's kind of like government, society, lots of issues that will impact all of us moving forward. So we're going to look at these events today, and you are going to get to choose what kind of you want to specifically focus on that relates to this issue of the coronavirus or COVID-19, whatever you prefer to call it, really. So our aim today is, as you saw in the intro, historians or more social scientists today will be able to, in writing, identify how the global COVID-19 pandemic impacts a specific aspect of society slash the world using the language of explanation. Because yes, we're going through coronavirus and COVID-19, but coronavirus and COVID-19 is really kind of touching on and connecting to all the major aspects of society, and this connecting to them, impacting them. I'm sure you've heard about these kind of if you've been paying attention to the news, but I kind of like when I was brainstorming this, like what issues in society does COVID-19 connect to? I kind of made this brainstorm chart, which I'll connect a picture to below in this video for your reference. But this is what you're going to look at is coronavirus, but what about coronavirus? It's a lot of other issues. So think of an issue that you're actually interested in. Like, do you really love sports? Well, we all kind of lost March Madness, and who knows what's going to happen with the major sports leagues coming forward. So maybe find an article about sports. Definitely healthcare, like are nurses and doctors and people equipped to take care of the sick? This is a major issue. People's jobs, the economy. So there's lots of issues, and here's my chart. I'll go through it while we go over it. So COVID-19 is the center, but this also impacts, like I said, healthcare, schools. So of course, we're not really at school. How are we going to do school? That's an issue too. Housing. How do people pay their rent? What do homeless people do in this situation? Sports. Oh man, are they even going to happen? How are we going to do this? Are they going to stream them? The environment. Surprisingly, the environment is kind of doing well. Or like, how does this impact like levels of pollution and like animals and things like that? Prisons and jails. This is a major issue. What are people doing that are in jail? Should we let them out? Should they be free? How do we take care of them in this pandemic? Research and science. That's just like, what do we know? How do we like have vaccines and develop these things and use our technology? Politicians and government, who makes these decisions for our lives? This is a major issue connected to COVID-19. Art and music. Not only are artists and musicians kind of struggling during this time, but they're also providing us kind of some joy. They kind of like are helping us with Netflix, art. So how does this connect to like how people are finding art in society and music? The economy and jobs, certainly I think that a lot of us are concerned about, especially your parents, I'm sure. How are we going to make sure we can feed our families and have jobs and just not completely go under? Food, how do we feed ourselves? What is going on with all that? And immigration, this is a major issue too that's actually connected to it. Are people still kept in like pretty much camps at the border? Yes, they are. How does this impact things with COVID-19 and people trying to move? And people power, people just looking out for each other and making sure that like if you need help, people are there for each other. This is kind of people helping each other outside the government. And it's pretty inspiring and cool. So as you see, COVID-19 touches on an incredible amount of issues in society. But what you're going to do is pick an article that you think is actually interesting and connects to something in society, but of course, how that thing in society is impacted or relates to the current coronavirus. So for your do now question, kind of brainstorm like, well, what am I interested in? What do I care about? Do I like technology, healthcare, sports, cars, whatever it is? Somehow it's impacted by coronavirus, and it will be in the future. So you're going to look for an article, but when you do now, just tell me what you're interested in the world, and this will help you kind of think, what article you're going to look for. And then in the next video, I will kind of help you to actually find your article, and then we will break it down and kind of answer some questions about it for the rest of the lesson here. So please answer your do now question, and I'll see you in the next video to help you find a news article.